I told my wife's friend she is too old and ugly after she repeatedly asked my 19-year-old son to take off his shirt. My wife has this friend Rebecca who started hanging around our house way more after my son Tyler came home from his first year of college. She's in her mid-40s, divorced, and honestly always gave me weird vibes. The first red flag was when Tyler was mowing our lawn without a shirt on because it was like 90 degrees outside. Rebecca showed up to borrow something and just stood there watching him for way longer than normal. When my wife introduced them, Rebecca made some comment about how Tyler had really filled out in college. I thought it was just awkward small talk. But then she started coming over every time Tyler was home. She'd ask if he was around, find excuses to talk to him, and always seemed to time her visits for when he was working out in our garage or doing yard work. Tyler's a polite kid, so he'd chat with her, but I could tell he was getting uncomfortable. The breaking point happened last weekend. Tyler was cleaning our pool and had his shirt off because he kept getting splashed. Rebecca showed up with some cookies she made extra of and immediately went over to where he was working. I was inside making lunch when I heard her say, "Tyler, honey, you should take your shirt off more often. You're hiding all that hard work under there." I looked out the window and saw my son's face turn bright red. He mumbled something about being almost done and started to put his shirt back on. That's when Rebecca actually reached over and tugged on his arm, saying, "Oh, come on, don't be shy. Let me see those muscles you've been building." Tyler stepped back and said he really needed to finish cleaning, but she kept pestering him. She was going on about how when she was his age, people weren't so modest, and how he shouldn't be embarrassed about his body. Then she actually said, "I bet all the college girls love seeing you without a shirt." I was done. I walked outside and told Rebecca she needed to leave Tyler alone. She laughed it off and said she was just being friendly, that I was being dramatic. She looked at Tyler and said, "Your dad's being silly, isn't he? There's nothing wrong with a woman appreciating a handsome young man." I lost it. I told her she was being inappropriate with my teenager and that her behavior was gross and predatory. She got all defensive and said I was overreacting, that she was just complimenting him. That's when I said it. I looked her dead in the eye and told her she was too old and too ugly to be hitting on my son, and that she needed to find someone her own age to creep on. The whole backyard went silent. Tyler's jaw dropped. Rebecca's face went white, then bright red. She started screaming at me, calling me horrible names, saying I was a terrible person. She stormed off to find my wife, who was inside folding laundry. My wife came outside looking confused and angry. Rebecca was crying, telling her I was cruel and mean for no reason. When my wife asked what happened, I explained everything. Tyler backed me up, saying he'd been feeling weird about Rebecca's comments for weeks but didn't want to cause drama. My wife was quiet for a long time. Then she looked at Rebecca and said, "You were hitting on my teenage son?" Rebecca tried to backtrack, saying she was just being nice, but my wife wasn't buying it. She told Rebecca to leave and not come back. Later that night, Tyler thanked me for standing up for him. He said he didn't know how to handle the situation without being rude, but that Rebecca's comments had been making him really uncomfortable. He'd even started avoiding being outside when her car was in our